Sam Houston State is moving up to FBS this season, so I've added them into the game, and my goal is to win a national championship with them. I'm going to give myself 7 seasons to do so, and if I end up falling short of reaching that goal, I'll be giving away another jersey to a random commenter. Additionally, to make it even harder on myself, I can only recruit in Texas, and I can only go after recruits that are 3 stars or below. We're going to start in Conference USA, but since I can't add all of the new teams to NCAA 14, once we win it one time, we'll be moved into the American, and it's time to see if Sam Houston can win a championship. Now, obviously, the roster I'm taking over is not very good, so like every other rebuild I've done, we have to start with recruiting. The annoying thing is I need to ignore all of these highly touted recruits because we need to go down to the 3 stars, and some of these guys can turn out to be good, but it's a much more limited sample size. One additional restriction in this rebuild is I'm starting out as a level 1 head coach, so I can go through and scout these guys, but it only reveals about 15% of their stats. Because of that, any of these guys at the top of my recruiting board could end up busting, and unfortunately, I'm not going to get many of them because they're all getting targeted by bigger schools. I'm pretty much just going in blind on these guys, but I did find that Gerald Canary has a shocking 94 speed. It would be amazing if we could land him, but first we have to play our rivals. If you've ever watched one of my rebuilds before, I can jump into up to 3 regular season games a year, and I don't know who this is, Zach Herbacek, I think that's how you say it. He's incredible, and I was not expecting to have somebody as fast as him on the team, but of course, he is already hurt. With our 1 star ruled out for the rest of the game, we ended up really struggling on offense, and on this 4th and 4, we have to pick it up to stay in it, which thankfully we're going to do. At this point, it would be a long shot to do, but we are going to have a decent chance as Catterbone is going to get all the way into the end zone, and if we can stop the run a few times, we're going to be able to get the ball back. Here on 3rd and 16, they are going to go with the pass. I guess they're going to try to go for the first, and we are going to lock it up. The only reason I am putting this much emphasis on a game in our first year is because it's against our rivals, and if Fisher has some speed, we might be able to take this one all the way to the house. He's going to get around the edge, and there's of course a flag. This one is going to be coming back, and I clearly didn't like the call as I'm arguing with the refs. I gotta say, this would be a crazy way to get our first win as an FBS school. I think I need to get a lucky route bounce here. I'm going to throw it, and the corner is going to stay on him. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to beat Texas State, but we still have 6 more seasons to assert our dominance on our rivals, and against North Texas, we're going to lose again. That's okay though, as I got a coach upgrade so we can scout the players a bit better, and I think I found our future quarterback and athlete, Colby Love, as he has some decent throwing stats. Another thing I'm going to do is schedule everybody for a visit against Rice, and then I'll just go ahead and advance to our first game, and hopefully we can get our first win here, but we do not. That one was literally against an FCS school, so we should have gotten a good result there, but we did not, and Louisiana Tech also beats us. I don't appreciate the disrespect, as this team won an FCS championship literally 2 years ago, but our scouting skill point is now maxed out, and once I get these guys to commit to the school, that'll be very useful. To no surprise, A&M also railed us, but that didn't stop all of these guys committing before visit week, making it not as important. Now whatever happens really doesn't matter to me, and against Rice, we are going to get blown out, but I do have more space on my recruiting board now, so I'm going to find some even more talent to hopefully make this team a lot better. There were certainly some highs and some lows, but I did find a few gems, and let's just get to the end of this rough first year. I'm embarrassed to say it, but we didn't win a single game, which is not very realistic, so I must have made Sam Houston's roster way too weak. I mean, we are 63 overall, but I guess I just expected better, even though everybody played horribly. The only positive thing that came out of this season was the coach upgrades, and also the amount of recruits that are already committed. I've been keeping it secret from you all, but we have 18 guys that are coming in next year, and there's also a few people transferring in from Tulane and Ohio State. I'm not gonna lie, for only being able to recruit 3 stars and below in the state of Texas, the 41st best recruiting class in the country is amazing, and I just can't wait to see what Colby Love does at quarterback. He won't be the starter until next year because Keegan Shoemaker's a senior, and I was looking through the new recruits when I realized a few of these guys were not from the state of Texas, so I immediately cut them. Now the goal for season number 2 is to be competitive in Conference USA, but keep in mind I am going to redshirt quite a few people, so we might end up stinking. The good news is there are a lot of highly touted 3 stars that want to come here, and I think it's because they're going to get instant playing time, which is fine with me because of all of those guys, nobody busted, and we found multiple gems. Of course, we are projected to finish at the bottom of our conference again, but after going 0-12 last year, I'm much more worried about rebuilding this roster. In real life, Sam Houston will definitely win a few, so we are underperforming right now, and we're going to lose to Central Arkansas. If we don't win a single game for the 2nd season in a row, I'm going to lose my mind, and thankfully we ended up beating UTSA. We might have only scored 14 points, but a win's a win, and we're not going to get another good result. I was hoping for the best there, but we still got our first wave of commits, and everybody else will be visiting this week against Texas State. This is a great opportunity to take down our rivals, and you all finally get to see the home stadium. If the stands weren't so large on the sidelines, it would probably feel more like a high school one than a college one, but I think it still seats about 15 to 20,000, so it is big enough, and of course it got deflected. That's going to force me to go for it on 4th and 10 because I don't trust our kicker, and we're not going to get it, which surprisingly has not affected our success in this game so far. Going into halftime, we're up 7-0, and that wouldn't last, but it's only because our struggles have come on the offensive side of the ball, which makes it really hard to stay in it. Texas State figured out how to get around our defense, and we haven't done anything since. So it looks like we're going to lose to our rivals for the second year in a row, and I am not happy about that. Even though I just threw a dot, I can't even get excited, but after simming one play, maybe I can because we got the interception, and now we are going to make it 21-24. If we could just get the ball back one more time, we might be able to make it happen. And on 3rd and 5, there's somebody wide open, but I'm going to intercept it with Smith. I just read that quarterback like a book, and we're going to take it to the 30. Last year, we could not pull off the comeback against our rivals, but it has to be different this season. And we're flying down the field. This is going to be another explosive play, but he loses the football. And because of that, Texas State is going to beat us. For the second year in a row, we fall short. And because of that, Visit Week only got one guy to commit. At this point, I think you all know how the rest of the year is going to go. We're going to beat Louisiana Tech. And I wasn't expecting that, but we could still finish at the top of our conference. However, I don't think we're ready for a move to the American yet, so it's a good thing our next game is against Alabama, who always schedules the worst teams in the nation. Georgia's an upcoming matchup as well, so no SEC schools are off the hook. And let me know what you all think in the comments about these big schools scheduling the smallest programs. It ended up derailing our season, as after that we didn't win a single game. And to review our season, somehow Keegan Shoemaker was even worse. I'm not gonna lie, I am happy that most of these guys are getting replaced next year, and so am I as head coach because we stunk, which is really frustrating because even though I'm back and better than ever, I lost both of my coordinators and I went from being a level 9 to a level 1. Even one of our offensive linemen are transferring out because of it, and I have a tough decision to make in offseason recruiting as we still need these 3 guys. This is how I ended up splitting up the points, and you're guaranteed to get a guy if you can get a 5,000 point lead on him, but I couldn't do that, so we just have to advance the week, and we ended up getting all 3 of them anyways. With 22 3-star recruits, this class is ranked as the 32nd best in the country, and in just 2 years, I think I've really revamped the entire roster. Because of some of the transfers we got last year, we actually have a few good players, and redshirt freshman Colby Love is a 76. I will say, it's definitely annoying that because my head coach got fired, now I can only scout these players for half of their potential again, and I don't know why every team overall is so much higher than us in our conference, but we're in a lot of trouble. If we can't beat Central Arkansas, we're going to be on a path to winning less than 2 games for the 3rd year in a row, but we're able to do it, and that at least gives me a little hope, which we need because this recruiting class is going to be terrible. Against Texas Tech, I think we can all expect that we're going to go out and lose, but there is good news as I finally found a 3-star in Texas that was over a 70 overall. Besides that, I think season 3 is going to be a throwaway one, so I'm just going to sim we're going to lose to Western Kentucky and also at North Texas the following week. It seems like all of those transfers aren't paying off after all, but it technically is still early in this rebuild, so I can't get too worked up about it yet. I would have played some of these conference games, but everybody is just such a higher overall than us, and with not much of a chance of winning it and moving into the American, I'm just going to sim again. The only one we'll be jumping into, like always, will be the Texas State one, and that's just because we still need to beat them. They're 2-5, so this could be our year, and it is important to keep in mind we do have a freshman quarterback in Colby Love, so there are going to be a lot of mistakes like this here where he just doesn't hit the target. Because of that, I've been trying to run the ball more with the transfer, but it hasn't gone for much, and on 3rd down, everything is boxed up, so I have nowhere to go. To make matters worse, our quarterback isn't getting up, but thankfully he wasn't added on to the injury report, which means after sitting out for a quarter, he's back out there and he is starting to deliver some dots. I think one of our main issues is we just have a terrible offensive line, and I might be being optimistic here, but I'm going for a 50-yarder with our kicker, and he is going to be short. All of those sequences should pretty much tell the story of why we haven't gotten onto the board with 15 seconds left in the first half, and we just keep getting unlucky. In the end, we lost worse to Texas State than we had any other season, and it feels like we're regressing as a program. I'm not going to lose hope yet, but this incoming class is not very talented, and since we're 1-7, it's probably best to just sim to the end of the year. Obviously, it didn't go well as we finished 1-11, and our freshman quarterback has a lot of work to do as he only threw for 7 touchdowns. Another weird stat was the fact that he led the team in rushing yards, and only one of our receivers went over 250 yards. For the second time in 3 years, I've been fired, so I have to start as a level 1 head coach for the 3rd time in a row. Luckily, this time nobody transferred out, but I'm so unhappy with how this recruiting class has gone as we still haven't landed the best guy on the board. It's a good thing we were able to get him in the final period, but this one's coming in ranked 58th, so it's as average as it could get. The only real takeaway I have from it is we got a ton of wide receivers, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but if it wasn't for these 3 transfers, we'd be atrocious. Well, I can't lie, we might never escape Conference USA as every single team is still a higher overall than us, and of course, we're starting the year at TCU, so we're also going to begin with a loss. Due to that, I'm immediately jumping into the next game, and if we can beat North Texas, maybe we can turn our season around. I don't want to begin 0-2 because then we'd be on pace to go like 1-11 again, but why is Gerald Canary wide open? That's the fast guy that we recruited at the beginning, and he got us on the board first, but then our kicker missed the extra point, so I'm hoping that doesn't come back to bite us. We've gotten North Texas to multiple third downs on this drive, and he has way too much time in the pocket, but he won't get the throw off. So you know what? I'm feeling decent about this game. I only have 4 more seasons left to win a national championship, so you could argue that this has to be the turning point of the dynasty. And so far, things have actually been going pretty well for us on offense. I think it's because the offensive line improved during the offseason, and of course this happens after I say that. That was extremely unlucky, and now I'm going to go for the 52-yarder with the 87 kick power freshman kicker, and it's short. The Mean Green would go on to score after that, so it seemed like everything was going downhill, but by midway through the third quarter, we're only trailing by 7, and I'm going to throw this one up to Cedric Barr, the freshman, who catches it. Now, they are pressing our receivers on this play, but I feel like I'm going to have to respect that because their corners seem good, and no, they are not. Canary toasts them. Colby Love put that throw perfectly on the money for it to be successful, and for a quarterback that wears gloves, I can't believe he can throw it this well as he lays another dime, but it was ruled out of bounds, so I'm going to challenge it. It looks like Canary might have gotten his foot in, but the ref didn't overturn it for us. At least we're going to end up pinning them back, and honestly, I'm going for the safety, but they ended up passing it, and they're going to toast us instead. That was not a good play call because I got way too aggressive, and now we just need to make a tackle, but instead, they're going to score. It's annoying, but at least the final drive is in our control, and we have to get at least a field goal. Since I've taken over, I think we've only won 3 games, but we might be able to take down a ranked team, and I hate the fact that I had to go for it on 4th down there, but it's going to end up paying off. I ran it down their throats to burn off the rest of the clock, and after getting in a little bit better of position, we're gonna win. This could be the game that changes everything for this dynasty, and sophomore Colby Love can still develop a ton. I don't want to go into the Miami, Ohio game expecting to beat them, but it looks like we're going to anyway, and that's massive because once again, besides a couple of JUCOs, I am struggling with recruiting. There's only a select few guys I can go after with these restrictions, and I'm about to jump into another game. We're hosting Western Kentucky, so I feel like this is important, and we also have our biggest home crowd yet. Coming out on top of this one would give us a decent chance at winning Conference USA, but I am in a box, and I'm honestly surprised that approaching halftime, not only are we not out of it, but we have a chance to take a lead. If we don't pick up this 3rd and 2, I'm going to be aggressive and go for it anyway, but it isn't going to matter, and what a perfect ending to the half this is going to be. I feel like we can keep up with Western Kentucky, so hopefully that means we can keep up with any remaining team on our schedule, and we only have 4 conference games, so if we can take them down, we might make it to the American. However, I don't want to get too ahead of myself as they are starting to come back. We're going to get a stop here, and that's great and all, but it's still a 1-point game. The only appropriate way to respond back would be a touchdown, but Colby Love is going to stumble trying to escape, and this has to be EA cheating me because I play this game all the time, and I've never seen that stumble before. Nothing could have possibly even tripped him up, but now I'm going to throw a laser to the back of the end zone. Carter's going to make a crazy snag, and because I am extremely aggressive, we're going to go for 2, and we're not going to get it. I'm not going to lie, I have a feeling that I am going to regret that, but after getting a huge 4th down stop, we ran off a lot of clock, making this a very crucial play in this game. I think I did just enough to get us in field goal range, and it is going to be good. So after holding Western Kentucky to a field goal, I feel like we're in a fantastic position, as all we have to do is recover this onside kick and pick up 1 first down, which is looking very likely. It took us 3 seasons to get 3 wins, and now we're going to do it in just 4 games. But to confirm that, I have to pick up this 3rd and 3, which we are going to be able to do. Sam Houston might be on the come up, and if we lose either of these next 2 games, I am going to cry. Against Drake, we're going to go out and we're going to win by 28, so that's good, and I'm expecting the same against FIU, which is going to happen. At this point in the year, I can only jump into 1 more game, so I'm going to have to sim the Texas State one, and we're going to lose again. So through 4 seasons, we haven't beaten them once, but we are sitting on top of Conference USA. Additionally, even though none of these guys seem great, I did land a couple JUCOs that might make a difference. Of all the remaining teams in the conference, Louisiana Tech is the worst one, so I'm going to sim it and we're going to win by 3, which means if we can beat UTEP, we are jumping into the Middle Tennessee State game. Hopefully we can win this one. I'm going to sim it, and we didn't score a point. That's unfortunate, as now I feel like we're not going to win the conference, but I'm going to jump into this one just to see how it goes anyways. Well, with 2 minutes left in the second quarter, it's a tie game, and it might be dumb to go for the fake field goal here, but I am very aggressive, and it's going to pay off. At this point, I have to be risky, as we are the underdogs going into this game, and that was pretty frustrating to take the sack there, but I'm just going to try to end the half with a bang by throwing it up. I don't know if this is going to work. Besh is going to come down with it, and he's going to swerve one. He might be able to make it all the way without getting touched, and I don't know about you all, but I'm starting to get a decent feeling about how this is going to go. If we can get about 10 to 15 yards, we'll be in field goal range to end the half, and it is a 54-yarder, so it's going to be close, but it looks like it is just good. I cannot believe we are up by 17 right now, but that could all change very quickly, so we got to be careful. By getting sacks like that and hopefully scoring another touchdown on this drive, I think that's how we're going to be able to do it. This is going to be a huge first down run, and I'm pretty sure that Colby Love is only a sophomore right now, so that is very exciting as he's doing a great job. Unfortunately, Shoddy Clayton is a senior, but we're going to use him while we can, and this has to be the best game we have ever played. We're going to start the fourth quarter with another touchdown run, and they're going to finish with just 10 points. If they can beat UTEP, we're going to win the conference, and all I can do is sim to the end of the year and hope it happens. It looks like we're going to lose to South Alabama and Florida State as well, but all I'm concerned about is what pops up after I click this button, and it's going to be that we won the conference. There might only be 5 teams, but I am going to take this as an achievement, and next year things are just going to be more difficult for Colby Love in the American. He's also going to be losing his top receiving target, but at the end of the day, we had a fantastic year, and against Old Dominion, I'm going to sim our bowl game, which we are not going to win. That's unfortunate, but again, this is still more than double the wins we've gotten in the past 3 years, and we'll see how next season goes as we are losing a ton of players. There is bad news though, which is our recruiting class was ranked 83rd, and that's the worst one we've had yet, but it was just another unlucky draw. I honestly can't tell if this team is going to be better or worse than last year's, but they better be because the American is certainly not going to be easy. Alright, it's the next day now. We have 3 more years left, and I'm not quite sure how playing in the American Conference is going to go. Before we get into it, I want to note that I've found multiple JUCOs that are high overalls that I'm going to try to get, and that's because with a few years left, I'm not going to have much time to develop anybody, but we're going to sim our first game, and we're only going to win by 6. I do find that to be a bit concerning since it was against an FCS school, but everybody's ready to visit this week against North Texas, and they're ranked 8th, so this could be huge. If I'm remembering right, yesterday we beat them in Season 4 to get our first ranked win, and I'm hoping that today we're able to do the exact same thing. We're starting out up 7-3 as we scored on our first drive, and I'm hoping that Scott is able to break free on this return. It looks like he might be able to. He might be fast enough. He's going to get around the corner, and that is going to be enough to get into the end zone. That was exactly what we needed, and now we're just going to need to come up with some defensive stops, which we weren't able to get there, but they are reviewing it, and it looks like he was just in. Unfortunately, that play stood, and North Texas's defense has just been clamps on us. We've only really scored 1 touchdown on offense, and here on 4th and 4 with a minute left in the second, we are barely going to get it. It has been a little bit of a struggle, but I'm going to try to get a bounce route here, and he's wide open, but he just changed the direction of his route for no reason. Because of that, we might end up giving points to end the first half, and I'm hoping their kicker doesn't have the leg for this as it is up and it is short. 14-12 is not bad, but I'm just frustrated at my own decision making. We need to get a stop on defense because of how bad the offense has been, and that is going to be an interception. As long as we keep doing stuff like that, we're going to probably be just fine, and I'm going to throw this ball deep just because I can. I cannot believe the throw got that far. Canary gets down inside the 15, and I'm done trying to run it. I am strictly going for passing the ball, which is not going to end well. I just fumbled the ball on that last play, and on this one, I'm going to lose it again. You've got to be kidding. We cannot catch a break right now, and on this 3rd down, they're going to pick it up. That's led to them getting all the way down to a 3rd and goal, and I feel like we might get a stop here, but that's going to be close. It looked like he was into me, but they're not reviewing it, and my only goal of this drive is to end it without turning the ball over, which we are not going to do. I just need to finish it off. Only 2 more yards to go, and I'm going to have to scramble with Colby Love. That was the smart decision to make, and on the 2-point conversion, we're not going to get it. That might have seemed like an aggressive move, but we really didn't have a choice, and what a dodge. I can't believe they just pulled that out, but they're not going to get their 2-pointer either, and my goal is going to be to end this drive with a game-winning field goal. It's been a lot of running, but we are doing well, and Richard Avery is going to get a little bit of space here. I told you all what my plan was, and I've executed on it perfectly. So as time expires, we're going to go for the win, and it's down the middle. Once again, we knock off ranked North Texas, and because of it, 4 different DBs committed to our school. Now, I will say I would love to jump into the Texas State game because we've never beat them, but I have to sim it, and we lose again. We're going to be going into year 6 and never taking down our rivals, but I wanted to save the games we could jump into. I can't believe winless Charlotte just took us down, but I don't think we're going to stand much of a chance in the American, so I'm no longer optimistic, and I'm just going to sim our next few games to see what happens, and we're going to beat USF. Unfortunately, we will lose to the Green Wave the next week, but at least we bounce back against SMU, and I think we all know how this one against Texas A&M is going to go as we get pounded. Fortunately, winning our side of the division isn't out of reach yet though, as we can still beat these 2 teams, and if we do that, we'll make the American Conference Championship, so I definitely have some work to do. I'm not sure why Tulsa is sitting atop the conference as a 3-5 team, but since we have a better record than them, it gives me hope that we can take them down, and this pressure is getting in fast, but it's not going to matter. Since the offensive line is still pretty mediocre, we're going to have to avoid it by going away from the middle, and going into halftime, we're going to have a 28-10 lead. However, since then, we haven't scored, and it looks like we're about to choke. I can't believe it's about to happen, but I'm going to lay him out, and instead of them scoring 6, they're only going to get 3. Like the game against the Mean Green, I just plan on running out the clock, but since I took that terrible sack, it's going to be a lot harder to get a field goal, and I'm lobbing this ball up, but it's going to be underthrown. I cannot believe we're in this situation, but they've been so good, and that is going to be right on the money. Campbell is somehow going to get out of there, but he fumbles it. Luckily, they determined he was already out of bounds, so we still have the ball, and that's another sack. I am telling you all, this defense has been incredible, and I am going to get the throw off to Carter. I'm not sure how he got open, but I just hit a random button and prayed, and I think it's going to work out as we are going to be in field goal range. Once again, we are going to win it in the final seconds, and I'm chasing a spot in the American Conference Championship. All we have to do is win our final 2 games, and we'll be able to make that happen, but I can only jump into one, and since Rice is the higher overall of the 2, and we'd be playing on the road, I'm going to sim it, and we're going to lose. I was hoping we'd be able to pull it off, but now this one doesn't even matter, where we're also going to get beat, and I'm just glad we ended the year with a win. This is pretty much what I expected for our first year in this conference, but now there's only 2 years left for me to win it all, and Colby Love regressed. He's clearly become more of a rusher than a passer, and looking at these receiving stats is tough. Of course, the bowl we get is against the Gators as well, so there's no way that we don't end the year with a loss, and this is the end of season number 5. I'm disappointed to say it, but it looks like we're on a downwards trajectory, and it's a good thing that only 2 players are graduating. Transfer Jairi Brown is the first player to get drafted from our program, at least during this rebuild, and we also have a transfer request from Michigan. It's nice to know that people still want to come here, and we signed the 43rd best recruiting class in the country, so hopefully these guys can help us get a championship within the next 2 years. Training results are very important, and Colby Love ended up becoming a 91, so even though I'm worried going into this year, maybe we'll be pretty good. I mean, we're projected to finish 4th in our division going into this season, but we should do way better than that because we're a 91 overall. Since we've yet to beat Texas State, I'm starting the year playing this game, and I'm not gonna lie, losing cannot be an option. I'm gonna try to bomb them from the start, which is going to work out for us as Carter toast them, and I've been developing Colby Love for like 5 seasons now, so he's gonna be great. One thing I'm already noticing is at least through this first quarter, we're already dominating, and on 4th and 2, we're gonna get a terrible drop. That should have been an easy first down, but now they're gonna have a chance to score on us, and that is going to be somehow a completion. I think EA just wants to make sure these games end up being close, and that has to be the case because in season 6, there's no reason we should be struggling with Texas State. If we can at least end the half with some points, I will be happy, and Avery's gonna get this one down to the 5. So after killing off a lot of clock, I'm gonna go with the speed option, and that's gonna be just enough. Midway through the 3rd quarter, we have maintained that lead, and I'm just gonna throw up a prayer, and somehow Scott got behind the defense. I was kind of looking for the Most animation, but we didn't even need it, and on 3rd down, we're gonna be able to lock up. This team honestly might be our best chance at making a championship push, so we have to make sure that we at least win these first few games to get off to a decent start, and look at Sharp going around the edge. He's gonna break free, and that's gonna be a touchdown. It has taken way longer than it should have, but we are on pace to beat our rivals, and that's a box. Just one more stop will seal it. Now they went with the wide receiver screen, and it is over. I'm not proud it took this long, but I am proud about the result, and what a start to Richard Avery's senior year. Next up is Middle Tennessee State. We used to be in their conference, and now we're gonna beat them, so we're starting to build up some momentum, and against 0-2 Charlotte, we're gonna dominate. I can still jump into 2 more games, and I think it'll be the North Texas and Rice one, so I have to cross my fingers and keep simming to get there, which is gonna hopefully work out. We just need to beat UTSA, who we lost to last year, and it's on the road, but it's not gonna matter. We're a much higher overall than everybody else, so I would say this is expected, and it looks like the Mean Green are starting to fall off, so I'm just gonna sim it, and we're gonna get another good result. If you want a recruiting update at this point, I don't think it's gonna matter, but we did get a few decent athletes, but since there's only 2 seasons left max in this rebuild, I don't think they're gonna play. Going into week 9, SMU's the only other undefeated team in our division, so it's time to step in and see how we do. As the higher overall team, I do think it's gonna be pretty easy to dominate this one, but they have given us a little pushback at some point, so it's not a guarantee. In real life, Sam Houston is known for their defense more than their offense, and I think that's been the same in this rebuild. I'm not sure what type of wacky play that was, but the refs didn't even like it. So for the second time today, they're gonna have to settle for 3. I'm hoping they're not gonna score a single touchdown today, but this heat is ridiculous, and I'm gonna try to do the same thing to them, and it's gonna get in just like theirs. Once again, all they're getting is a field goal, but those are starting to add up, so I need to score on this drive, and I saw the blitz coming from a mile away, and I was prepared. However, it was a slight overthrow, and so I just look stupid getting excited for no reason, but the corner route is going to toast them, and I guess we're gonna score a touchdown on this play instead, assuming Sharp is just fast enough. The Mustangs or the Broncos, whatever SMU is, are going down by 19, and they might even be the Stallions for all I know, but what's important is we're doing so well today. It's also looking like they might actually finish this game with only field goals, which would be hilarious, but not if they could come back, so I need to pick something up here, and that right tackle just made a beautiful block, allowing me to deliver a dot. However, it seems like the refs did not like that, and after an illegal touching call, I have no choice but to take our 3. It is a good thing that SMU's offense has been pretty piss poor, and that should be a user pick, but even though we dropped it, we're going to get the stop, and I think at this point, we know that the blitz is going to come, but I prepared for it. I blocked a lot of people, and I'm just going to toss up a bomb. It didn't work as Sharp dropped it, but they're giving us a chance to try it again, and this time he is going to break free, but there's no way we just got that unlucky again. I'm literally just looking for one more touchdown to confirm that we're going to be able to get the win, and if we don't pick up this 3rd and long, we're going to have to kick a field goal, making it a 2-possession game still, but I'm I'm throwing it up, and did he really just go for a one-handed grab there? He has at least 5 inches on this dude, so all he had to do was go up with 2 hands, but instead, he's just going to keep SMU's comeback hopes alive. Luckily for us, on 4th and 16, SMU decided the smart decision was to punt it back to us instead of going for it, and we're going to recover it, so they ended up never seeing the ball again. It feels weird to say this, but we're already 8-0, and yet we're still not ranked in the top 25. That all changed after our week 10 bye week though, and I'm hoping if we can win out, that'll be enough to get us a spot in the college football playoffs. It's going to need to be a fast climb to the top, but we are moving up the polls, and this is where a big dilemma comes in, as I just realized Georgia is still on the schedule. Because of that, we have no choice but to sim this game against Rice, which we're going to win, and our season legitimately all comes down to this. If we made the playoffs, I'd have to play a team like them anyways, but I was not expecting them to be there on the schedule. I thought I had scheduled only Cupcakes, but Sharp is going to start this one off with a kick return. I was not thinking he was going to pull it out, but he did in front of a crowd of like 90,000 people, and I'd love to get another return on this one, but it's going to be too far. Now that the offense is taking the field for the first time today, I am feeling pretty confident because we just got a defensive stop, but maybe I should just stop talking and focus up. That throw obviously turned into a turnover, and their defensive line has been eating us alive, but you know what? If we can keep this a game, I'll be satisfied. Here on 3rd and 7, they went 4 verticals, and there's way too much time in the pocket, but it's not going to matter. So it's time for Sharp's second attempt at a return, and I don't know if he's quick enough to outrun them all here, but that's okay. He already did it once for us, so it would be ludicrous of me to expect him to do it again, but what an escape right there from Colby Love finding Canary, and he might have like 0.2 seconds in the pocket when he goes to pass, but at the end of the day, if he can get the job done, I don't care, and I just hit the wrong button. The other wide receiver was wide open. All I can really say is I was not expecting a defensive battle against Georgia, but here we are, and after that terrible drop, I'm attempting a 61-yard field goal, which is going to be good. I know we're supposed to be struggling, but right now I am feeling decently confident because so far everything that's needed to go our way has gone our way, and what a catch. To end the first half, we might be able to take a 2-possession lead, and it's actually guaranteed if we don't turn the ball over, but I'm prone to making a lot of mistakes. On 3rd and 17, I'm fully expecting this to not go well, but we have somebody that got wide open, and I cannot believe it, but we're going to be able to score a touchdown. With all of the momentum on our side, I'm also going to go for 2, and that's going to be a bad decision, but you know what? We're still doing well, and on 3rd and 6, we are going to get another stop. I don't understand why they're playing so passively, but it's working out in our favor as I feel like we have complete control of this game. For a while, it felt like luck, but we are staying in it, and I don't know what coverage this is, but we're going to have somebody wide open. I know we're up 19, but I'm trying not to get complacent as they're still Georgia, so I feel like anything could still happen as they are going to get in. That means we're going into the 4th up by 12, and I'm hoping that we can run out most of this, but it's going to require us picking up first downs, and I'd really appreciate getting a stop here on 4th and 7, and they're going to test my user, but I am terrible. Within seconds, everything has changed, and I feel like we're choking this game, but I'm going to throw this one up to Canary, and he's going to drop it. After that, they scored again, so I'm starting to feel like my Colts did against the Vikings, and I know we're only down by 3, but there's only a minute remaining in this game. Time will go by extremely fast if I'm not careful, but I'm going to try to escape the pocket, and Colby Love just delivered a dime on the run. I'm not sure how he does it, but he has kept our playoff hopes alive. And here on 3rd and 10, I had to run out most of the clock because we could still go to overtime against them, and I just can't escape. It's all going to come down to an ice kick, and I can't even tell where this ball's really going to go. It looks like it is down the middle, so we should be good. And here in overtime, we're starting with the ball, which is seeming to go well. I've already gotten it down to about the 2-yard line, and on 3rd and goal, that is going to be a touchdown. That means it could all come down to our defense, and we've gotten them into a 3rd and 8 position where they're going to go with the corner route, and I couldn't get there. That's frustrating, but they are going to review it, and while I'm looking at here in slow-mo, his foot actually didn't stay in. Somehow the play stood, though, and that is super annoying, but I think we're going to get the stop here. For whatever reason, they went with a halfback draw on 3rd and long, so at this point, I control our destiny, and their defensive line is killing me. Since I can't seem to pass the ball, I'm just going to have to run it with Avery, and I know this might seem like the pansy move, but I am shaking right now. I didn't think we were going to come close to a championship, but it might actually be possible, and that touchdown run from Colby Love is going to seal it. It was stressful, but now we're sitting as a top 5 team in the country, and I'm going to lose my mind if we don't win our final matchup against Navy, but we get by 7, and it's time for the American Conference Championship. Since Memphis is undefeated just like us, this game is for a spot in the 4-team playoff, and I'm not sure why they got to host it. We're both 12-0, so I'm not even sure what the tiebreaker would be, but all that matters is we take them down, and this has to be the first snow game we've played. Holding them to 3 there is a big first stop, and they're actually pretty smart because they have not pressed us once in this game. Every other team gets too big of an ego and does it, but they haven't, which has made it harder to move it, and considering it's already almost the end of the first quarter, this might end up being a defensive battle. I hate to do this, but we have to settle for the field goal here, and getting a stop on 3rd and 10 would be huge here, which we're going to be able to do. I normally wouldn't put much emphasis on on this, but this game's been a struggle fest, and there's no way we just dropped that ball. You have got to be kidding me. Our best returner just choked the game for us, and then now they're just throwing us off of tackles. I'm losing my freaking mind. All I want to do is try to make the college football playoffs with this team, but it is not easy, and that is a big play. If we're going to respond back to the BS that's getting thrown our way, that's how we have to do it. And Richard Avery might have a ton of space here as he's going to go all the way down to the 1. Just like that, it's a tie game. And to end the first half, if we get a stop here, we're only going to be down by 3, which isn't too bad. I'm not going to lie, I'm still a bit annoyed about that drop on the punt return, but to give us our best chance at winning this game, I need to act like it didn't even happen, and that should be a touchdown. Richard Avery might have died in the process, but we are going to get into the end zone. And on this drive, if we can finish it off, we might be able to pull away. All it takes is a couple turnovers, and this is going to be over. But Memphis has fought to stay in it, and I don't know what this 3rd and 16 play is, but it is terrible. Surely we're going to stop them. Because of the weather, they have no choice but to go for the long play as well, and on 4th and 14, they are going to be taken down short. Up to this point, it's been the defense that's made the difference, and you know what? I might as well just try to bomb them. The Tigers are starting to realize that they might be out of this game if we pick up the first down, and Avery's going to get down to the 1 again. It was stressful, but I think we're going to win the American, and in the end, all the players get to celebrate in the snow. In this dynasty, we've now won the American and Conference USA, but there's one more thing we have to shoot for, and that's a national championship. It looks like nobody turned the lights on inside AT&T Stadium, but we have a game to play, and I'm a little surprised that USC is going for it this early, but they're going to get it. We've gotten them to another 3rd and 10 though, and they're just going to go with the halfback draw. So after putting in all that work, they're only going to get a field goal. I feel like our defense can win us this game, so I'm going to try to run it a bunch, and while I do that, I'm going to be taking as much clock with me as possible. As time winds down to end the first quarter, we still haven't found the end zone, but that's okay because this drive has taken a lot of time and it's working for us as Canary is going to get us all the way down to the 7. Playing this patiently has made it so I don't make any dumb mistakes, and it looks like we are going to start with the first touchdown. It seems like USC is going to respond back pretty quick, but we might be able to get a stop, and that should have been a pick. Also, if you noticed on the last play, the end zone did say Army in it, and that's because they were the team that was replaced by this custom-made Sam Houston State team, but look at that throw. That's going to be another score. And just a quick note, if you know how to make custom teams, I'm always looking for more to use in these rebuilds, so just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram if you want to help me get these out, and this is going to be a huge 3rd and 10. I was worried that we weren't going to pick it up, but it turns out we did, and that is going to be another dot to Scott down to the 15, meaning we could end the first half with a 2-possession lead over USC because we managed the clock so well. Unfortunately, it looks like nothing's going to be open, and I'm just glad that I didn't throw a pick, as at least we're still able to be up 17-10. We also got the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so right now I am feeling pretty confident about the position we're in, as long as we continue to control the clock, it's going to be very hard for the Trojans to come back. We legitimately just took the entire 3rd quarter, and now we just need to finish it off with a halfback toss, which is going to work. It's taken the Trojans forever, but they finally worked it all the way down the field on us, and all they really have to do is run it in, but we're going to make it hard. We've gotten them to a 4th and goal, and I probably should have sent more than 3 people because their quarterback has a lot of time, but they're going to drop the ball, and we have made it to the national championship. What's even funnier is Michigan got upset by Air Force, so this has to be the weirdest championship matchup ever. The fact that it's in the rain is already making me nervous because we have seen what the weather can do, but Sharp has proven time and time again that he is a beast on kick returns, and he is going to go down to the 30. If we actually end up pulling this off, I'm going to have to give a lot of credit to him, but there is no way that just happened. I'm telling you all, you drop the ball a lot more in this game whenever the weather is bad, and we can't make tackles either, which is even worse. Air Force ended up scoring after that as well, so as you can imagine, I'm already frustrated, and we're not even 3 minutes into this game, but Colby Love is going to take off, and what a huge pickup this is for him. He just turned nothing into something, and now on this run, I'm hoping that we're fast enough to pull it off. Richard Avery's getting down to about the 10, so we might be switching up our style on offense a bit, but we cannot do long passes. In the rain, it's just a recipe for disaster, and on a long 3rd and 21, they're going to get sacked. They went from being in field goal range to punting us the ball back, and I should not have tried to return that ball, but at least we pick it up. So all is good, and it is time to just run the ball down their throats. We are the higher overall team, so I probably shouldn't play so passively, and you know what? I'm just going to sling it to the wide open receiver in the end zone, giving us a 7-point lead that I'm hoping can last for the rest of the game. How did they catch that? I mean, legitimately, this might be the worst hand placement I've ever seen, and if they end the first half with a touchdown, I honestly might cry. All I want to do is win it all with Sam Houston, but the game is making it very difficult, and look at that. They're going to check it down, so going into the half, it's going to be 10-14. It's not perfect, but at least we're sitting with a lead, and I was kind of hoping that we could just blow Air Force out, but I don't think that's going to happen. They've done a very good job of staying in it, and I guess that does make some sense, because they are 13-0, and they beat Michigan, but on this long 3rd and 10, I'm just going to have to send up a prayer, and of course it was draw. I hate to say it, but there's a decent chance that we lose this championship now, and they're going to pick that one up. It was 3rd and long, and they had no issues with getting it, and again. Now they have another chance at doing so, and it works again. Somehow, the team that only runs the ball is dotting us up, and I've decided that I'm just going to send the house at them every single time. When I drop a bunch of guys back, they just have too much time to do something, and they're probably going to pick this up as well. We got to knock him out of bounds. Thank goodness the refs marked him short there, and that tackle could end up being one of the most clutch things in the world. All of those blocks are incredible though, and Sharp is just going to have a bunch of open space. There is no way that anybody on this field is going to catch him as he takes it into the house, and he has to be our MVP. To start the fourth quarter, it is 3rd and 7, and they're going to get the throw off, but it's going to be a draw. So for the first time ever, the rain hurts the computer. What if we got another kick return as well? That would be incredible, and it might actually happen. There's no way that he just got through that so effortlessly. We're going to have 2 kickoff returns, and I'd love to say we're 4 minutes away from winning a championship, but Air Force isn't going away. If they get into the end zone on this drive, we're going to go down, and with 3 minutes remaining, all we need is a field goal, but I'm hesitant to take one because I'm scared we might get it blocked. I've never seen the animation before, but for some reason I feel like EA would just make us slip on the game-winning attempt. So with all of those worries in my mind, I'm not sure quite what to think. Avery's going to get us down to the 50, and I don't want to go for the home run here on 3rd and 4, but they did press us, and I'm going to have to do so. Please do not drop this ball, thank goodness. I'm honestly surprised that he held on to it, but a championship is very close, and he's going to get in. That is not good at all. That's going to give Army a minute to try and respond back, and we're not even going to get the 2. So if they score a touchdown, we are going to lose, and I am very nervous. All it takes is 1 or 2 broken plays, and they could get down the field. So I'm on the edge of my seat right now. I have no one to cover, and somehow their quarterback's going to get the throw off here. We should have picked that, but because we didn't, they're going to get one last chance, and on the slant, they're going to drop it. This is going to go down as what won us the championship. And I'm sorry, boys, but I'm not going to have to give away a jersey for this video. I have completed the challenge in less than 7 seasons. We know who was our championship MVP, and if you love these rebuilds, you can watch another one right here.